Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard, this is Lap of the World, and that's a lot of Porsches. So we are out here actually with the Smoky Mountain region of the Porsche Club of America doing an autocross this morning, and playing around a little bit more with our Dragy Lap. We're going to see how well this works for autocross, because it does have a point-to-point function that we weren't able to really test in our last video. But we are also out here with some of Stuttgart's finest to just kind of have a little bit of a last motorsports hurrah for this year. I'm not sure we're going to make it to other tracks or out to do much else from a an aggressive driving standpoint this year, but I do appreciate the SMT PCA for letting me sneak in my Japanese Cayman and play around with them a little bit this morning. So I'm going to go walk the course, which is all laid out behind me there. So we're gonna go take a couple of course walks here and kind of memorize where we're going to be going. Then we'll get stuff set up in the car and show you what that looks like. So we are here at the start finish line. I have the Dragy app loaded up and connected to the Dragy device, which is just in my other hand right now for a good GPS signal. So now what we're going to do to get our point to point done is we're going to go to tracks, and then we're going to go to add track beta here. All right, so once we've zoomed in on our spot there, we're going to click the start button, which will let us position a start finish line. We're going to shrink that a little bit to be kind of realistic as far as that, and then we're going to hit the preview button. Cool. So there was our start line over there, and we've now transited to our finish line, and we're going to do the same thing here on the finish line. So we're going to find our dot. Let me get somewhere we can actually get some contrast on the camera there. Find our dot. Then we're going to click the finish button. And then we're going to make sure we are oriented, that we are going to be going the other direction. So we're going to turn that around. You can see the point on that is the direction of the finish that we want to track. And we're going to give it a pretty wide beacon there. Not rotate it too much with the phone. And hit finish. All right, well, we're getting ready to pull up here for our first run. Hopefully I remember what I'm doing. It's been a hot minute since I've done an autocross, and I didn't get as many course walks as I would have liked given my state of rust. This fairly technical course started with an effectively straight launch into a tight off-camber horseshoe turn requiring lots of patience in order to achieve a clean entry into the following 4-cone slalom, the last cone of which was also the entry into a long right-hand sweeper with another downhill camber transition. A well-judged exit would allow you to take a straight path through the first 3 cones of the subsequent slalom before having to thread a needle through the short chute and half Chicago box that might have been the most critical elements on the course as it led onto this uphill straight. The straight terminated in what drove like an exaggerated offset slalom through several gates that led to a short left-hand sweep into another grip-challenged right-hand 180. Patience again on the exit to enable a graceful entry to the right of the first cone in a 3-cone slalom. Following that, a tight pin cone turn pointed you back onto the home stretch, which was a full throttle weave through a few gates and the finish lights. Following that reasonably tidy first run, I took a minute or two to check and adjust my tire pressures. Ambient temperature was less than 60 F, and this parking lot is notoriously lacking for grip on its sealed asphalt surface. Mix in some leaf dust this time of year, and it's just this side of a skating rink. I went down a few PSI at each corner in hopes of gaining a little contact patch and allowing some compliance for the longer turns. It sort of helped in the grip department, but it didn't help my driving as my rust started to show a little, pushing wide and aborting a slalom versus center punching the last cone on my next run, and then murdering a different poor cone on a subsequent run. Eventually I pushed through though and put together another quick one, shown here courtesy of Dragy Lap's video capture and automatic data overlay pulled from my phone.
Last run, good to go.
Good enough for 3rd overall on the day, only a split second behind a 991 C4S and 4-liter Cayman GTS. I had to let a couple of the Stuttgart boys onto the podium, so they'll invite me back next season. But speaking of Dragy, let's take a deeper dive into the data we came away with and see what use it might be for getting quicker at future events. The pace of this event unfortunately precluded a lot of in-between run analysis, but had we had time, we could have gone into our history here, clicked on the course that we ran, and been able to get a lot of information. We've got the general kind of speed heat map up here. If we scroll down, we can get a speed trace, some acceleration traces, a G-plot, and a calculated brake application plot there. However, for those of you who take autocross super seriously, I think there are 2 tools that you're going to leverage the most here. The first being the ability to replay your session pretty much immediately, or replay your run pretty much immediately with data overlaid. So if you think about this, if we click on our fastest run here, you think about the situation where maybe you have a co-driver. Either you're the second driver and you're getting a free preview of the course from a driver's eye view or nearly a driver's eye view, or you were the first driver and you're able to then review your run almost immediately and see, oh yeah, no, there's more room there than I thought. I can carry more speed there, and so on and so forth. The other thing, if we back out of here and instead click on one of the times down here, this may be the most powerful tool in the Dragy Lap app. And this is a comparative trace analysis tool. So you have the speed trace up here, and we can actually add, so we've got our quick lap here, and we can go back and add, let's say we want to compare our first lap with our last lap, and we can save that. And you could also imagine this being co-driver 1 and co-driver 2. And then as you're reviewing this, you're like, hey, you know, if I'm the blue trace and you're the yellow trace, I can say, hey, I'm way faster coming out of this section, but you're carrying a lot more speed through the slalom. And then kind of our powers combined, we can make some adjustments there and both get faster just using this tool for analysis. This, again, this may be the most powerful tool that Dragy Lap provides. You could use it equally on a road course, but for autocross, I think this is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time in between sessions trying to get quicker, is looking at this. With the obligatory reminder that Dragy did send us this device to review, I think they may have under-marketed it as an autocross tool. I think there's a strong value proposition for the Dragy Lap as an autocross data logging device. There are competitor apps and devices out there, but if you're looking for something with comparable data analysis tools, the most popular competitor starts at over $200 for just the app. That's only the software. You still have to supply cameras and a GPS receiver of appropriate sample rate to feed it with data. Meanwhile, 160 bucks. Now, admittedly, I have not tested that most popular competitor at an event myself, but that's a big price gap. And I think if you are just starting to try and up your autocross game by reviewing some data, doing some data analysis, and reviewing video in between your runs to start that learning and improvement process in your technique, this is not a bad place to start. Pretty good value for what you're getting here. You know, you can do it with just a phone, or it will control GoPros with some versions of the app. And if you want a more full overview of what the Dragy Lap is capable of, we've done that video elsewhere on our channel, and you can go and find that. But for now, I will thank again the Smoky Mountain region of the Porsche Club for hosting an amazing event. Autocross was my first motorsport discipline, so it will kind of always have a place in my schedule where time allows. And I hope to make it out to a few more events next season. But for the meantime, if you enjoyed the video or found it informative, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And in either case, thanks for watching. I'm Richard. This is Lap of the World. We'll see you all in the next video, if not out at the track, or maybe an autocross course.
Ron, good to go.